It's Sunday, August 14th, 2022. The season is getting on. It'll be time to harvest this stuff pretty soon. But my attention is still on the bees, not as much the honey. So being a Sunday, I'm trying not to plan too much for the day. However, the weather seems to be going to change in the next couple of days, so I want to address a couple of things in the apiary here today before we start to get a few days of showers. One of those things is my resource nukes here. Some of them are really growing up, and I think I'm going to winter some of these really good ones. So I want to get some of my poly boxes like these. They're 6-frame boxes, and transfer the really good nukes into those so that then they're in a box that's appropriate for winter. These little guys are 4 frames, so it's 4/4. Like this is 4/4 here. But I like to do 6. Suits me better, and I think the bees will do well. They usually do well in those boxes. The other thing, which is probably more urgent, and I may have to do that first because it's more urgent, is I have a few colonies that I requeened, and I want to check on the status of that queen. If those queens didn't work out for any reason, I need to address that because they're going to end up laying workers if they aren't already. So that's what's going on today. I just noticed this nuke. It says check eggs August 7th, and that was a week ago. So better check it, eh? Looks like they're making honey. There's eggs. There are eggs there. Eggs and tiny larvae. Very good. This is probably why it looks like a remnant of an emerged queen cell. I don't keep specific notes, and usually that's okay, because the exact history on something like this usually isn't that important to me. My goal is moving forward, not looking back. Now sometimes I wish I did keep better records. That's a nice plump larva in there, and there's not tons of it, so they could definitely use a boost of capped brood. So maybe I'll try and see if I can get them one of those. And sometimes I wish I did keep better records, because I'll sit down somewhere and I'll think, what in the world's going on here? I have to play Sherlock Holmes every time to figure out what's going on. Yeah, they definitely need some kind of a boost. Foraging nicely, lots of pollen. I'm going to sort their frames around a little bit. Get that pollen and nectar a little farther out. Get her laying in the open frames. Okay, I didn't see her. I don't need to see her. But I did see what I need to see. If I can find in my nuke work over at the side, I can perhaps skim a frame or 2 of sealed brood, and then I'll take these 2 frames, which are pretty much empty, out and put some brood in there. So this is no longer needing checked. I'm going to write 22 on here because I don't really know. You know what? I'm going to write FA22. Because it did come from here. Okay. So I'm just doing a quick queen check on these. Honey deeps. Heavy honey deeps. Should be harvesting this soon. Something tells me I checked this recently. Queen excluder is not stuck down very much. Okay, I do see some larger larvae and milk brood in there, so I think we're good here. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. The more you mess around, the more you're chancing to damage the queen. I think I did check that the other day. I fear my crop is not great this year. I should have 3 deeps of honey on every colony, and I don't. I have 2 and 2 on the medium, rarely 3. This one has 3 deeps. Another queen check. There's not much in this top one. Oh, there's some weight there. Not tons, but a little bit. It's a lot of foundation. A lot of foundation this year. I've been selling comb and I've been selling nukes, which means drawing a lot of foundation, which I realize does impact my crop. In my opinion, dollars wise, it doesn't make much difference. The amount of honey it takes away from my crop to draw a frame of foundation, I can get back by selling that frame of foundation. So it only comes down to, do I want to sell the honey or do I want to sell the frames? So that's a newly drawn frame, nectar and honey here. And they pull out, I re-waxed all of these foundations. They pull out what I wax right away, and that's it until they need to fill it with nectar or brood. Everything goes in the honey house and it gets sorted from there. It'll get sorted into frames that might get sold, sorted into frames that might get re-waxed at the end of the season if they aren't drawn well. Sometimes the bees will strip the wax off a foundation the same way they'll chew up a wax foundation. I've seen them chew up wax foundation really bad, and that's why they're trying to build brood comb in a dearth. So they just chew up the foundation and repurpose it. They do the same thing with plastic. They strip the wax off it and repurpose it. So then you need to reapply the wax, because the bees won't build foundation if it's not covered in wax. If it's made of wax, then no problem. If it's made of plastic, it still needs a wax coating. Okay, so we've got a queen cage here. Queen has been released. At least this tells me that I have not checked this hive yet. So what this was this an OTS failure, which I had plenty of them this year for some reason. My mating success among my grafted queens was good. My success in OTS was not good, which is unusual. Usually OTS is a very good system for requeening strong colonies. Oh, wow! Right under the leg in the soft spot. Holy smokes! It just nailed me. dear. I'll move over a little bit. I didn't smoke the entrance. So hopefully she's laying and they didn't kill my new queen. Yes, so this was an OTS failure, and so I took one of my laying queens from my mating or my grafting project and put her in here in a cage. So if she's one of my grafted queens, she should be marked. Yeah, I see brood here. There's the queen, and her mark isn't very good. We'll give that another go. She complied. This was probably marked with the Posca pen. This is why it rubbed off. Oh, drippy. You don't want it too drippy. And this is my competitive advantage pen, which so far I really like. Come on, turn over. I need your top side. There we go. I like this catcher marking tool because it has the pad is soft and the stop is set perfect, so you can push that queen right against the grid right up to the stop and you're not going to hurt the queen. I've never hurt one that I'm aware of. Tried to cage one the other day and she flew away, but my bad. How's she doing? She got that all laid up. She's got some good brood going there, good brood going there. Okay. Yeah, she's doing alright. It's always nice to finish your work in the hive before putting the queen back. You know where she is, you know she's safe. Okay, Your Majesty. Go back home. I got yellow paint all over my thumb. Dear. Oh well. Okay. That's a success. It's nice. I need some good news. Had some difficulties this year. These deeps aren't full. They got some honey, but they're not full by any means. I don't see a queen cage in here. Now hold that metal one down in the middle when I pull it. If you don't, it'll come up and it'll spring, and the bees go fwing, and then they're mad. And being that I'm not very well covered up, I'm driven to keep my bees happy and not make them mad. See, I can tell there's brood in this hive now. And that it's not a hard and fast rule, because it depends on the weather, depends on the outside temperature. If there's not brood in a hive, the frame broke. if there's not brood in a hive, the inside of the hive temperature will not be as high. In my experience, and judging by my temperature sensors that I've used, a broodless colony will run about 26 degrees C, and a queen-right brooding colony will run about 32 C. And that difference, oh yeah, lots of milk brood there. That difference makes a big difference in the consistency of the propolis and wax. And so when I come and crack the box and crack the frames, try and move the frames, how that feels is meaningful. I'm just learning all that. This is my 8th year in beekeeping. I'm just learning all that. I only discovered that about a week ago. I thought there was a pattern. There started to be a pattern with how that felt and the results of my queen check. Okay, so you see, I've looked at 3 frames. Well, I saw this side of this one, so 3.5, and now I'll put it back together. That's all I need to know. They look to be actually a pretty good nest going there. Lots of sealed brood. So put it back together and move on. I love just sitting here looking through the hives and looking at the bees and looking at the brood. And unfortunately, that doesn't get the work done. It's kind of one of the reasons I wish I was a hobbyist. Commercial, just all work. That's not just all work, but it is a lot of all work. Okay. There's only 1 deep on it. It's kind of bittersweet because you think, oh good, I only have to lift 1, and you think they didn't make much honey, so no honey, no money, right? Like they say. Right now it's about winter. Right now it's about thinking about what we're going to have in May. The decisions I make now will result in what my report card looks like in May. Okay. And my ability to recover from mistakes is dwindling by the day. Okay, I see sealed brood. I think this was a nuke I put in here. So seeing sealed brood is not going to tell me how healthy my queen is. Open brood and eggs will. Even seeing a queen, you know, you see a queen, you think, oh good. But no, I always tell people, you know, you don't need a queen. What you need is something laying eggs. I see eggs, so I got something laying eggs in here. With the caveat that you don't want the workers to be laying eggs. Okay, so that's all I need to know here. We'll let them continue on. I've got a couple of really nice new brood frames on the outside there. They may just be filling those up for winter. Because if you see the queen, I hear hobbyists say all the time. No, I shouldn't just say hobbyists. New beekeepers are just, you know, maybe taught the basics and haven't, you know, don't have that much experience. They say, oh, I went in and saw the queen. Well, that doesn't mean much. It means you have a queen. That's it. You can have a queen and still have some pretty serious problems. that brood. It's that brood who's going to tell the story, not the queen. Oh, stung me right in the leg. I was talking to James McNally this morning. He said the drones are the workers are kicking out the drones already at his place. He's in a little different area than I'm in. And as entertaining as that is, it's always another, another indication that the season is drawing to a close. Gosh, somebody is really upset with me. Taking about 4 stings in the last 30 seconds. There's a queen cage in this one. And it's empty. So now I need to find some eggs. So I like to look at things logically. I used to work in a computer business, and I tried to make sure that the way I was thinking about things when I was troubleshooting was accurate. And when I see that queen cage, I think, okay, there's a queen cage and there's no queen in it. So you might describe that as, well, the queen was released from the cage. You can assume that with pretty high degree of certainty. However, it's not a fact. The fact is the queen cage is empty. What you know is there's not a queen in that cage. Okay? Those two things might be different. And the difference might be not immediately apparent, but it might prove itself to be significant as you put together the story of what's going on here. Okay. Gonna have to get my flashlight. I'm kind of looking at the sun again. Thanks to Mike for the flashlight idea. I didn't think of that. Makes perfect sense. Especially if you're old guys like me and Mike. Sorry, Mike. Because you can see it right away. Right away, it's even a distance. Look at that nice plump larva. Milk brood. See, milk brood, which is great, but seeing eggs is really the trump card. Sealed brood here. I'm going to call this good because milk brood means 4 or 5 days, and I have not been in here in 4 or 5 days. So I am going to say there's a laying queen. My story frame was kind of in the wrong place. All right. It's kind of sad this time of year, I like working the bees. I like, the whole queens and nukes and brood and eggs and the whole thing. And the season is winding down, and now it's just going to be honey, extracting, feeding, treating, work. I don't think there's anything at all in that box. See a queen cage here. This is another OTS that didn't work out. So that was an introduction of a grafted queen. I need to get my weed eater out here. Again, my story frame's in the wrong place. See, she's got a hold of a drone. She's going to town. Okay, out. She's got somebody too. Now I think I can see that cage is empty. Oh, there's something in it. What's in it? Worker bee. Just the worker bee, checking it out. The sun's at my back now, so I can see in those a lot better. I'm not seeing any eggs yet. I'm getting nervous. I'm seeing emerging brood that is almost finished emerging. So, oh, yeah, I see milk brood here. Okay. Emergency averted. Okay. Milk brood is all I need. Eggs is even better, but I'm pretty confident with milk brood. Another queen cage, which is, oh, except for a worker, it's empty. Oh, jeez, made them mad. They do get crankier in the end of the, later in the season. Start tossing those drones out to get an attitude or something, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about this. Just listening to them. Got a bit of that whine to them. Well, that's kind of interesting. I don't know what to make of that. The comb is kind of goofy. Yeah, I don't think the queen made it. Something happened. Yeah. This one didn't make it. I suspect they're in laying worker territory, but it's not that clear. Put that together and weigh my options. I might shake them out and place a nuke here. So I started pulling frames out of the top box here, which actually was the second box, not the top box. And I start seeing this. All kinds of eggs and larvae. Guess where my queen was. Queen was above the excluder. So I found the queen on that, and I caught her and marked her. She was, I believe, an OTS queen, to be honest. And so now I'm going to put this back so she stays down there, and I'll just put these honey boxes back on top. 21 days that'll emerge. Now that's, boy, this is getting late for that, because it's the, what is it, the 14th today, so that's well into September when that's emerged. I would certainly like to have everything emerged within the month of August. My only alternative would be to just swap these two boxes, but I've chosen not to. Sure stick down. You set them down on something, they just stick. So, okay. So that's a medium, but I don't think there's anything in it. It's pretty light. So there you go. That's a win. Here's another one with a queen cage. So I'm not sure if it was an OTS fed. This was actually, I remember what this one was. This was a experimental walkaway split. So all I did with this colony was I came by on July 6th and I took the queen. That's all I did. And judging by the fact that I put a queen cage in here, it didn't work. But it didn't work any worse than my OTS colony, so we might just see. That feels good. So I'm expecting brood in this colony. These frames, I got these old frames in here from somewhere, and I recognize them by the top bar is a little narrower and the ends are quite square. Okay, I hate them. I really hate them. Why do I hate them? I hate them because they're longer than everything else. They're longer than all the other frames and longer than the box, so they get jammed in there. Not in a good mood today, complaining about everything. But that I'm annoyed with a lot. I just don't complain verbally. I see a smattering of sealed brood there and here. I need to see young brood because this would have been a nuke that I put in here, so they would have had sealed brood with them. So that sealed brood doesn't mean anything as far as whether or not they have a laying queen. They're backfilling the brood frames. I would rather see evidence of laying in those. Oh, is this another one? Just so many of these queens I've put in here. And please comment if you see an error in my methods. So many of these queens I cage up, I put in here for slow release, and then they're gone. There's an emerged queen cell here, of all things. I don't know what that means, because they were never queenless. Well, I mean, it was a queenless colony, but hopelessly queenless. They didn't have anything going for them. Maybe that was what I missed. Maybe I missed queen cells, and so it's actually a virgin who's killing my mated queens that I'm introducing, I guess, because there's no queen in here either. There's still sealed brood in here, so they've not been queenless long enough to start laying. Sealed brood is from the nuke I put in here, though. There's no queen there either. I'm pretty upset about this whole thing. Today is Monday, August 15th, 2022. It rained a little bit this morning, midday actually. And so this is actually about 1:30 in the afternoon, closer to 2 o'clock probably. And had some customers this morning, did some business, got a little bit of rest since I worked yesterday. Today, first thing I'm going to do is take a look at this swarm. I've been moving this swarm closer and closer to the apiary every day. You can see I'm almost there. One more day and 2 more days and I'll jump the fence. So what I'm just curious about is how that queen is doing. I did see the queen. She was a nice big queen, marked white, which is 2021. So she's definitely one of my queens from over here. So I don't expect any problems in that regard. But she's been in there a week and a day now. So I'm going to check and just see how they're doing. This is legitimately 2 boxes. I have not put a queen excluder in there, but I probably will if I can, determine she's laying in the bottom box and get her down there, all that kind of thing, because, I'll want her to winter in a single. And my next task here today, I'm going to finally deal with a few of these. My wife actually started this yesterday. She did, it's kind of messy, but she ended up consolidating this one and taking a few of those that were not failing, but not doing much, and we used the brood elsewhere. So she made this one nice nuke here that will winter. And again, these queens were deemed either too old or too far behind to bother with this year. However, some of them have proven me wrong. Some have, fit the bill for what that is. So if there's any brood in these, as I consolidate these into the 6 framers, then I'll just add those brood frames to those. It is a little bit of a dance here because these doubles are 8 frames. So I'm going to lose 2 frames. So I don't know how many frames of brood there are in those, but we're going to find out here pretty quick. Another little dance is I want to leave them here so the foragers will find their way. However, there's only room for 3 poly 6s here. And so what will probably happen is these 3 colonies will end up here in poly 6s. This one will get terminated and used as I described. So I think I'm going to start by moving that little one, and then put my poly 6 frame on the end. It's Wednesday, August 17th, 2022. I can't believe I'm saying it, that it's that late. And we waited and waited all spring, and summer has just flown by. Now my last attempt at this ended rather abruptly, and I was shut down pretty fast by robbing. I had a couple of hives open, sorting frames around, etc., and things just turned into a complete madhouse here. So I had to shut it down, close everybody up, and I actually closed the entrances down. I've restricted this one. This one's just a pile of boxes, so there's nothing special, but I restricted the entrances on the polys, and I turned the entrance discs on the little ones here just so that one bee can get through to help them defend off the robbers. So I got the smoker started up there. I got my coffee, all important coffee. So it's a wee bit early. Hopefully they don't pound me too bad. They were getting kind of excited last time I was here. I took quite a few stings. But it rained last night, rained the night before, evening before. So Monday evening, we got some really heavy thunderstorms here. It was quite incredible. And then I can see it did rain a bit again last night. So everything's a bit soggy. The dirt area here is mud. I have to not step in that as best I can while I do my work. So it's starting to warm up. It was 22°C when I came out, so it's warm. And then with the rain, it's very, very humid. 22 degrees, and there's still dew on the grass. It's going to be an extremely humid day. So I need to jump into these and get some work done here. It's Friday, August 19th, 2022. I've been working in the honey house for the last couple of days, trying to get it ready for the season. And it's always a disaster. It gets so neglected. in the off season. Pressure washer here, washed the whole place out preliminarily. I'm gonna have to wash quite a bit of it again. A lot of stuff doesn't belong in here. My lifter thing has to go out. It needs to be charged, and that thing on the handle still needs to be fixed. Just some, it's kind of special little bolts I need. I just need to source those. Anyway, oh, here's one that I need to address. My melter, my wax melter here. I messed up, and I ended up getting it turned on with the jacket empty. So guess what? I burned out the elements. So I'm going to take the elements out of that right now, and then I need to run to town in the morning, and hopefully they have what I need, because that is kind of an integral part of my extracting process. If I don't have that, it causes me a lot of extra work. So you can see there's a lot of stuff in here. Generators in here. Here we go. The syrup pump is in here. I've got some, gas cans can't be in the honey house. So there's just a ton. I'm glad I got my HVAC kind of reorganized here. That's going to work really well. But that comes into play in, when the bees come in. So I'm really glad that I've got the new doors, because that's going to keep the bees out. The bees always find the cracks in the old doors, so the new doors I think are going to work just well that way. So that's it. That's all I'm doing here. I got some drain work to fix on the sink. Some hoses. Got some hoses I gotta fix. And the melter. And then I have to set everything up and dry run everything. Make sure the pump works and hook everything up again. So this is gonna take me a day or two yet. So anyway, that's Friday. I haven't, I've been working in here this week, and I've been torn away because of running to town to get vehicles serviced. I've had some vehicle problems, and not related to the farm and whatnot. So I've had to address that, and that's taken up a lot of my time. A really bad time for stuff like that to be taking up time, because harvest time is go, 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 go. And anything else that comes by is just, it either gets pushed off the back burner, or it causes a huge amount of extra stress that I don't need. And so that's what this week has been like. Hopefully this weekend I get to maybe look at the bees a little bit. I might add some patties to the little nukes, because they've got no honey supers anyway. So we'll add some patties there and get them kind of rock and rolling. My last 5 mating nukes need to be checked. They can be checked this weekend. Hopefully I find some nice mated queens in there. What I'm going to do with them, I'm not sure. But I'll do something. I'll make up some late splits or something and get them put away for the winter. And then that's the deal. So hopefully we'll be pulling honey here next week and get some extracting done. So anyway, that's this week, and thanks for putting up with this really long video. And there was just some footage that I hadn't put in another video, so I thought, well, I'll just stick it in here, give you something to see. And yeah, so have a really great weekend, and I'll let you know how the honey pull and extracting thing goes, hopefully next week, and have fun.